Welcome to this demonstration of Bentley's AssetWise Performance Management. My name is Ron Whitson. AssetWise Performance Management, or APM, is our solution for using information relating to the performance and condition of the asset to improve reliability and to extend asset life. We have additional functionality around asset health indexing, which provides the ability to use asset performance data along with other variables to generate an overall health index score for assets. Asset health indexing, or AHI, is the focus of this demonstration. We're currently looking at my dashboard view in APM. Dashboards are configured to provide information relevant to the user's role. This instance of APM has 3 electrical substations under management. The dashboard displays a gauge for each substation, indicating its current health index score. The bottom half of the dashboard is displaying AHI data for components installed in the substations. The gauge for substation 14 is at 63.78%, which means the overall health of the substation is considered to be fair. In this APM instance, I've defined condition categories of poor, fair, good, and excellent. These condition categories are represented by the colors red, yellow, green, and blue. APM allows different AHI ranges to be set for different asset classes, but tie them all back to the same condition codes. I'll show more about AHI scores and conditions later in the demonstration. Let's try to understand why substation 14 is showing such a low health index. I can use the bottom section of the dashboard to drill into information on substation 14. Now I can see the average age and average health index for the assets installed there. By opening up the transformers, I can see the individual assets and their scores. At the top of the list, I see a transformer with a health index of 24. And I also see that its latest trend is downward. I can open up the AHI record to access some additional information. On this screen, I can see the current health index along with the 2 prior ones. I see there has been a sharp decrease each time. By clicking on the Trend tab, I can get a visual representation of how the health index has been trending for this asset. So now that we've seen how this information is visualized and how it can be used, let's see what it takes to implement. On the Asset Health view, I have access to the various objects I need for asset health indexing. Let's start with the Health Indexes tab. This configuration lists the published AHI scores along with trending information. This view is sorted by decreasing amount of change from the last reading. In other words, the assets with the largest change in their health index are listed first. Here I can see the transformer from substation 14 showing up with its large decrease in health value. I can also have other configurations available which can present different aspects of the data, such as my watch list or my replace in 10 years. These configurations provide a great deal of flexibility in how the user can query and view the data. The Health Indexes tab also has built-in charts. If I expose them, we can see a chart which summarizes assets by condition and one which compares change in AHI score. A great feature of APM is that the charts are interactive. On the Change Summary chart, I see that 5 assets have reported a sharp decrease. If I double-click on that portion of the chart, I get a list of those 5 assets. The most critical piece of AHI is the calculation. On the Calculations tab, I have a list of calculations I've created and whether they are active or inactive. Let's take a look at the breaker health calculation. On the Calculation tab, I can see the variables used to generate the health index. Variables may come directly from readings collected from asset performance data, or they may be filtered from the asset record to include values such as asset age or the number of corrective work orders during the specified period. Each variable may also be factored and weighted. The text box above the variables is where the calculation is defined. My example shows a straightforward VBScript function that uses the variables listed to calculate the health index score. Calculations may also be created with C#. The States tab is where I can see the AHI scores and their relationship to the condition codes. For this calculation, I've defined a score of less than 40% as poor, scores between 40 and 75% as fair, scores between 75 and 85% as good, and scores greater than 85% as excellent. Finally, the Readings tab gives me the ability to see the AHI scores which have been calculated for each asset. I can see the timestamp for the calculation and the status. Once I have a calculation defined and activated, I need to create a report definition. A report definition links a calculation or several calculations to a group of assets and contains information regarding how frequently the calculation should be performed. Let's open up the report definition for breaker health. The General tab shows which calculation I'm using in this definition, in this case breaker health. APM provides the ability to have up to 5 calculations included in the report definition, along with the order in which they should be performed. On the Assets tab, I can see which assets have been linked. The Readings Frequency tab is where I can schedule a recurring pattern for when this report should be generated. In this example, it will be generated on the first day of the month every 3 months. Now that I have the report definition, reports will be generated automatically. Reports are generated with a status of draft. This allows companies a chance to review and approve the information before the report is published. If I open up the Breaker Health report, I can see information about the calculations used and the report generation date. I can also see a list of health index scores. I can use the Health Index by Age chart to view information from this report. If I click on a point, I can see the associated data. I see that I have an asset that's only a year old, but its AHI score is quite low. The other analysis tabs provide summarized information by condition, manufacturer, and by asset type. Today's presentation has been a brief introduction into how AssetWise Performance Management can provide a solution for creating and managing health index scores for assets. I hope you found it to be informative. Thank you for your time.